Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Infernal Archive. We're in Season 3, starting off hot. We got a film from 2022 called The Harbinger. Andrew, could you please read the quick description for us?
Yes, The Harbinger is a 2022 American horror film directed by Andy Mitten. Ridiculous name. Monique ventures out of quarantine to visit an old friend who's plagued by nightmares. She finds herself drawn into a hellish dreamscape where she must face her greatest fears or risk never having existed at all.
Okay, we got to address the glove in the room here. I'm sorry, if your last name is Mitten and you're going to be directing horror films, it's legal name change. Sorry.
But what if he's a bad Mitten?
What's that from again?
That's Big Mouth.
Big Mouth is bad.
I'm a fucking bad Mitten.
Let me explain this to you. I'm not a good Mitten. I'm a bad Mitten. Still don't think I'm a bad Mitten? Then stick around and watch me fuck this dead bird.
Smoking a cigarette?
Okay.
Yeah.
I could maybe take that a little more seriously. It's just not or maybe like a pseudonym. It's like the Vicious Brothers. They call themselves the Vicious Brothers. That's kind of cool. Like maybe old Mr. Mitten here. If you're gonna keep doing horror films, we come up with a pseudonym, something, just anything. Cause
a little more edgy.
You see that at the like directed by Mitten, and it's like, okay, all of the serious stuff that you've just presented me with is completely torn down by your ridiculous last name. Okay, I've got one little quote for you. I was trying to look up fun facts for this movie, couldn't really find a ton, but there was one quote from a reviewer that I thought was very, very good. So apparently this movie, COVID is a function in the plot somehow.
Okay.
So they're addressing that directly. Made in 2022, makes sense. And Joel Harley of Starburst, a thing I know nothing about. Is it the candy? I doubt it. He said the antagonist is instantly memorable, and he said it's a modern boogeyman for an age of lockdowns, surgical masks, and raging pandemics.
Interesting.
Don't really know anything about the movie, but that's a great quote. Good work, Joel Harley of Starburst. We're gonna go check out the film, and then we will be right back with our thoughts.
Blank, pale, emotionless face, and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We just watched The Harbinger from 2022. Not an interesting film. Andrew, what did you think?
Yeah, it was a film of all time.
Yep.
Certainly not bad. Not great overall. Somewhere kind of in that middle.
Maybe not
mid-zone.
even particularly good.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
No, not particularly good. No. I can respect the effort that was put into it, and certainly there are some things that we can talk about that were good, but very, very lackluster. And I would say it felt very run and gun, or I'm not sure if this is a new filmmaker or inexperienced team, but it definitely felt that way.
Yeah.
Felt like they were probably working with some budget constraints, likely. I hope. So given some of that information, which we couldn't source 100%, yeah, just very, very mid, I would say, overall.
So basically, like, plot of the movie, woman is being haunted by this terrifying plague mask ghost.
It is a demon.
Demon, sorry. We do find out it's a demon. She doesn't have any friends or no family in the city she's at. Her landlord is worried about her. He's like, you need to call somebody. So then she's got this old college buddy from that she knew years ago that she'd helped in a tight spot at one point. So she calls this old buddy of hers. The old buddy comes over and then stays with her. And the whole film is set during COVID, and it's like very adamantly COVID, like they say COVID-19, everybody's like wearing masks, we're all social distancing, the whole deal. So they're quarantined together, this old college buddy and like this girl who's experiencing this demon or whatever. And you had said that the COVID stuff you thought was like an interesting angle.
I haven't seen it dealt with in terms of like the angle they took in terms of like, there's a couple lines I thought were well placed. Like when she's going to leave her brother and dad, and her brother says, "We worked so hard to keep this bubble." I'm like, ooh, like I remember like that feeling of like, oh, our bubbles, and we don't go outside of our bubble.
It felt so accurate to like early COVID.
Totally,
like the feeling
totally.
when we all had no idea what was going on, and
then the neighbor, when she first gets to her friend's place, and the neighbor comes out and she points out the sign about the masks, and she's like, "Oh, stupid sheeple." And walks back in, and it's like, oh, okay, like I remember this is a weird nostalgia that it's evoking from this time.
And to be fair, it felt kind of like it was portraying it accurately rather than taking a stance. It was It was just like, this is what it was. These are the people, and this is what it felt like. And so I agree that I thought it captured that like really accurately.
And I think in terms of like the overall metaphor that it was going for with this creature, this demon or whatever, obviously like fear is a big element that is, talked about, and planting the seed of this bad idea and fear, and isolation was a big thing. And that's how he gets you, is you're isolated, and he likes the pandemic. And so I think obviously trying to make a commentary on a lot of the emotion and stuff happening at that time, and it was kind of effective. Elements of it worked, elements of it didn't work. But like the parts that did work, I was like, okay, I'm kind of on board with that. I can see what you're going for. Touching on that isolation and that fear and that general, moment. But then when it came to follow through and execution, I think that's where it really, kind of dropped the ball.
Yeah, it's like interesting thesis, but then you kind of went off in your own tangent in the subsequent paragraphs, and it was like, okay, like I like the idea, but maybe whatever. It's kind of how I felt about the movie in general, honestly. That's like a pretty good microcosm. Like, one thing that I thought was really odd was sort of like the cinematography of the film in general, and it felt almost like, hey, we have this cool idea for where a scene could be set. It's in a snowy field, or it's like in a dark apartment, isolated. Like all these on paper, like, oh, that's a cool setting for a horror scene or whatever. But then the way that the scene was shot was like, why is almost everything hand cam, and it feels like you just shot it on the day and you had no plan for what you were gonna do. And this extends to the effects to me as well. Like, there's a scene that like it's almost frightening, but I'm like it's silly almost. And to me, it ended up being silly, especially now like reflecting on it. I'm like, it was silly. There's this scene when there's like a sound, like the one girl's dreaming, and there's like a sound cue, and she looks out her apartment door, and then the demon just like comes from the ceiling, but is like upside down and looking at her, and like for a second it's scary because you're like, oh, what is that thing off the ceiling? But then it literally, the second you think about it, you're like,
oh, they just flipped it. Like,
how are you? And also, like, is the demon like? Are you a monkey bar? Just, I don't know. The second you think about it, it just becomes silly, and a lot of the effects felt that way. There was like some shoddy green screen.
It very much feels like sometimes when independent filmmakers make like a B-style movie, and it's like, oh, we can just do this shitty because it's a B movie. Like, it feels like some of the stuff was kind of written off as like, oh, it's like a dream sequence thing. So, oh, the bad green screen, that's just because it's a dream and a dream inside another dream.
And it's like, sometimes, but not all the time. The thing is, like, I think the lighting was good. Like, it was, especially like we had accidentally put on the wrong movie, another film called The Harbinger, and it was like it was terrible. It was lit like of the worst Hallmark movies. Very bright lighting, just very poor, flat. And anyways, when we swapped over to like the real Harbinger, we were like, oh, thank goodness, like we're not watching this shit movie. We're watching this like actually well lit. Like,
some thought went into it.
Yeah, it was like almost good, and that kind of I think is the sentiment about the movie. It was almost like it was good. Almost good.
I would actually really like to know what their budget was, because if that might swing it a little bit for me if I found out that like it cost $100,000 to make this movie. Like, oh wow, they totally really like stretched that budget. And, oh wow, they made it in a month with $100,000. This is impressive.
Well,
but
it's like the sad thing, and I said this to you just before we started shooting, was like it feels like the type of thing where you had the opportunity to like skyrocket yourself to greatness, because like all the pieces were there. You had lighting, you had actors who were good enough, you had like all the stuff. Clearly somebody knew what they were doing with effects or and whatever, but you didn't capitalize on it, and you didn't elevate the material. It's like it doesn't feel as good as it could have been, and that really brings it back down. So anyways, we decided we're going to start rating these movies. We're going to rate them out of 13. Ooh, so spooky. Ooh, 13, I'm lucky. Andrew, what did we give it out of 13?
I think we said 6.5, where it was there. Like you said, the pieces were there. There was lots of... the thesis was interesting, but the rest of the essay just kind of didn't follow through.
Yeah.
And interesting, like what the tomato score, you should touch on that as
Totally,
well.
yeah. It's interesting because this is one of those movies where the critic score and the audience score is just very disparate. The critics gave this a 92%. Ridiculous. Like, how would you ever defend this film being that good? I have no idea. I'd love to read some of the reviews from the critics on like how this movie hits that level. Like maybe they just love the thing is like the COVID thing, it was good.
Yeah.
But like to me, that's the only thing that's very good. Regardless, the audience score, which I think is way closer, they were even a little harsher than we were. They gave it a 52%, and I think that's way
closer,
more indicative of the
yeah.
overall product. Maybe a little mean, but I think that's closer for sure. Alrighty, well, that's our score for this movie, Harbinger from 2022. We rented it on Amazon. It's available in a couple places to rent. We couldn't find anywhere to stream it. But yeah, I don't know if you have nothing else good to watch, it's not unwatchable.
And you want to get if you really want to get nostalgic for those early COVID days.
Yeah.
Of bubbles and masks and there's no vaccine yet. Oh, spooky.
Yeah.
Good one to feel some of that COVID nostalgia.
Yeah, totally. Okay, we are going to pull out the unholy wheel of chaos and select the film for next time. Yeah. And my ghouls in the back, if you could, let me know what movie it lands on, because I cannot see. And the wheel spins.
And it spins and it spins and it chaotically spins. And we're going to wait for it to stop. Where is it? Oh, we don't have the pointer.
Oh shit! But is that better? Radius from the film for the next episode of the Infernal Archive will be Radius from 2017. Andrew, could you read the description?
Yes, I believe it is one of our Canadian films. Yes. Haha. Radius is a 2017 Canadian science fiction thriller. Directed and written by Caroline Lebreche and Steve Leonard.
Oh yeah, the two E's.
A man wakes up with no memory of who he is and finds that everyone who comes within a certain distance of him suddenly dies.
Holy shit. Like a fucked up Midas.
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching this episode, and we will catch you next time on the Infernal Archive.